In this class, we are going to discuss some special cases in transportation problems, especially the unbalanced transportation problem. So far, we have discussed only those cases where the total supply was equal to total demand. But now we are going to discuss cases where total supply may not be equal to total demand. So what happens in real life problems? The demand may be more than availability or vice versa. So if the total demand is not equal to total supply or sigma AI is not equal to sigma Bj, this type of problem is said to be unbalanced transportation problem. So the unbalanced transportation problems are generally handled by introducing dummy source or dummy destinations. So there could be two cases: when demand is less than supply or when demand is more than supply. So when demand is less than supply means sigma AI is greater than sigma Bj. Bj is the demand and AI is the supply of a particular source. So when this demand is less, supply is more. So we have to create an artificial demand or dummy demand, and for that we need to add dummy column in the transportation table with zero transportation cost so that the problem becomes balanced. So the problem of unbalanced transportation problem is made balanced by adding a dummy column in the transportation table with zero unit transportation cost and making the problem balanced. And then the problem is solved as discussed for balanced transportation problem. Similarly, when demand is more than supply, that is sigma AI is less than sigma Bj, in that case, we have to add dummy source again with zero transportation cost in order to make the problem balanced, and then we apply the normal transportation algorithm to solve the problem. So now let us consider a problem where a company has received a contract to supply sand for 3 project sites A, B, and C, and the construction engineers have estimated the requirement of sand at these three locations as project A, location A will require 72 truckloads, B will require 102 truckloads, and C will require 41 truckloads of sands. And the company has 3 sand pits located in town X, Y, and Z. The sand required by the construction projects can be supplied by any of these 3 pits. And let us consider the quality of sand is same at all these 3 locations X, Y, and Z. The amount of sand which can be supplied by each of the pits is at X it is availability is 76, at Y availability is 82, and at Z the availability is 77 truckloads. So these are the pits X, Y, Z, and these are the project locations A, B, and C. and the cost of transportation from each pit to each project location has been given in this matrix. So cost of transportation from say pit X to project location A is 4 units. It may be 4,000 rupees or 40,000 rupees or 400 rupees, whatever you say, it is in 4 units. Similarly, from pit X to location B would be 8 units. From pit X to location C is 8 units. And likewise, the cost of transportation from pit Y to all these 3 locations is also given here. Now we write the transportation table here. These are the project locations, these are the pits, and these are the demands 72, 102, and 41, as seen here 72, 102, and 41, and 76, 82, and 77 is the supply capacity. 76, 82, and 77 is the supply capacity. So if you add up, you will find that this supply, if you add up 76, 82, and 77, so the supply is equal to X has a capacity of 76, 82, and 77. What is this? So total supply is equal to 235 and the demand is equal to here 72, 102, and 41. Add up, this becomes 215. The demand has a shortfall of 20 units. Therefore, we first create a balanced transportation table by adding a dummy destination with 20 units of demand. So in this table, what happens is say there is a dummy destination D. We have already have A, B, C, these project sites, and now we have another site, say dummy site D, where the demand is 20, but the cost of transportation is 0 because dummy does not actually exist. We have only created it artificially to make the problem balanced. So this is the problem. Now we shall make all calculations as we do in case of balanced transportation problem. After a dummy destination has been created. So now the problem is a balanced one because here it is also 235. So availability is 235 and demand is also 235. So now this is a balanced transportation problem. So let us go to the next table where we have made initial basic feasibility solution by using VAM, Vogel's approximation method. You know that we first work out for each row and each column the difference of the list cost and next to the list cost. So list cost is here 0, so 0 and 4, difference is 4 for this row. For the second row, 0 and 16, it is 16. In the third row, we have 0 and 16, 0 and 8, sorry, 0 and 8, 8. Here it is 4 and 8, 4, 8 and 16, it is 8, 8 and 16, it is 8, and 0 and 0 is 0. So where is the maximum difference? Maximum difference in the first stage we get 16, and that is in the row Y, in this row, And the minimum cost is what? Minimum cost is 0 here. So we make a supply of, say, the requirement is here 20 units. and the supply is 82 units. So instead of making first allotment at 0, we make first allotment at the next cost, because here also you have 16, here also you have 16. So arbitrarily we choose this, and so says we make a allocation of 72 units, because here the requirement is 72, supply is 82, so you have only left with 10 units. 10 units. So in the first case, we do this allocation. Okay. Now we recalculate the difference. So here the requirement is made. So we delete this column. Now we have only 1, 2, 3 column and 3 rows. 1, 2, 3 rows. The difference is again 0 and 8 is the 8. 0 and 16, 16. 0 and 16 is 16. Here it is 8 and 16, 8. 8 and 16, 8. 0 and 0 is 0. So maximum difference is again 16 here. And now we have only 10 units left here. Or 72 units is already exhausted. So only 10 units left here. So we have to make a supply of 10. So what will happen? This row is also deleted, because all 72 plus 10, 82 units supply is exhausted from P to B, and so this way we calculate for all the rows and columns, and we continue until all our stocks are exhausted and all our demands are met. So finally, by using Vogel's approximation method, our allocations are from X to B 35 units, X to C 41 units, Y to A 72 units, Y to D dummy location say 10 units, Z to B is 67 units, and Z to D is 10 units. So the total cost of transportation by Vogel's approximation method (VAM) is, see here, row wise if you go 35 into 8 plus 41 1 into 8, 35 into 8 plus 41 into 8 plus 72 into 16 plus 10 into 0, 72 into 60 plus 10 into 0, then 16 into 67 plus 0 into 10, 16 into 67 to 0 into 10, that comes to rupees 2,832. So number of occupied cells is here equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 3 rows and 4 columns, now including dummy. Dummy is considered as good as any other column. So we have 4 columns now, 3 rows. So m plus n minus 1, number of rows minus number of column, is equal to is equal to 6. So and 6 allocations are already there. So the problem is non-degenerate. So we can straight away use either Modi method or stepping stone method for solution, for getting optimal solution. So let us consider Modi method here, because that is easier. So modified distribution method, which is abbreviated as Modi method. So we say assign U1, U2, U3 values to the 3 rows and V1, V2, V3, V4 values for the columns, and we put U1 is equal to 0 arbitrarily. Then U1 plus V1 is equal to 4, so V1 is equal to 4. So likewise we calculate the values of all the cells. all the cells, we calculate the values. For the occupied cells, we calculate. So U1 plus V1 is equal to U1 V2. Say here U1 plus V1 is equal to, for U1 plus V2 is equal to 8, because here it will not be for unoccupied cell, it will be only for occupied cell. So you can get the value for the here and for this here. So U1 plus V2 is equal to 8. So V2 is equal to 8, because U1 you have arbitrarily chosen as equal to 0. So U1 plus V2, so V2 is equal to 8. Similarly, U1 0, V3, U1 plus V3 is equal to 8. So here V3 will also be equal to 8. So see here V3 is equal to also 8, and V3 is equal to also 8, V2 is equal to also 8. Similarly, U2 V1, see here, U2 V1, here U2 plus V1, U2 plus V1 will be equal to 16. U2 plus V1 will be 16. And U3 plus V2, U3 plus V2 will be 16. V2 we have already got the value of 8, so U3 will be equal to 8. And this is 8, V4, 8 plus V4 is equal to 0, so this will be minus 8. So this you have got minus 8. So U2 you can get from the here, this is minus 8, this is 0, so you put plus 8 is equal to 0. Now this is plus 8 and this is V1 is also 8, 8 plus 8, 16. So we have got all the values now. So we have got all the values. So E1, E2, E3, E4, all would minus 8 and 8. Likewise, now what we do, we calculate the opportunity cost by Cij minus Ui plus Vj. So from the cost, we find the difference of Ui and Vj. So say here, you write the value in your copy, the value of U1, U2, E3, V1, V2, V3 before. So here you have said U1 is equal to 0, so V1 is equal to 8, V2 is equal to V1 you got how much? V1 is equal to 8, V2 is equal to 8, V3 is equal to 8. Likewise, when you say U1 unoccupied cell is U1 V1, so this is unoccupied cell U1 V1. So what will be value 4 minus U1 plus V1 will be the value of this unoccupied cell. So this will be 4 minus 0 plus 8 is equal to minus 4. Likewise, you calculate all the values. So minus 4 plus 8 plus 8 minus 8 plus 8. So what we say that all the opportunity cost should be positive. Only then we say that this is a case of maximization, so minimization, and the solution is optimal. But because when it is positive, it means now if you want to do any allocation, change in allocation, then you will get an increased cost. But here the cost is decreased if you have some negative cells also. So you see in the table that there are some negative values also. This is minus 4, this is minus 8. So this is the opportunity cost, means you can reduce your cost by allocating some quantity in these cells. So what you do, we start at the most negative value. Most negative value is minus 8 here, U3 V1. So U3 V1, U3 V1, this is the most negative here. So we start from allocation here. So what we do, we draw a closed loop. So, and in drawing the loop, I have explained to you that we can change the direction only at the occupied cells, and that too only in 90-degree direction. So we start from here. Here is an allocation, so we can change the direction. Go here. Here again there is the allocation, so we can come down here. Here allocation, so come down here. So now we come back to the original position. So starting with the first cell, from where we have drawn the loop, we assign positive and negative values alternatively. So this is positive, this is negative, this is positive and negative. So what is the minimum value now? You see here. So what is the minimum value? Minimum allocation is minimum allocation in the negative minimum allocation in the negative values. Negative values are here. It is 72. Here it is 10. 10. So we take this 10 as a negative value and then deduct this 10 from here and add it on in the cells where there is a positive sign. So this 10 will go, this become 18, and this will come here, this becomes 10 here, and this will be reduced 62, and this will become plus 110 plus 10 20. So next cell you see here, this becomes 20, this becomes 10, this becomes 10 less 62. So these are the changes. Now we again calculate. So the cost of, say, as per this new table, the cost is 2752. So what was our earlier cost? Our earlier cost was here 2832. So from rupees 2832, your cost has decreased to here in this table how much? 2752. So there is a advantage of 48 plus 32, 80 rupees. So your cost has decreased. Now again you calculate the value of UIVJ considering UI is equal to 0 for all the occupied cells. And if you repeat this process and calculate the delta Ij for all the unoccupied cells, so you get that still you find that U2 V3 there is a negative value minus set. It means there is still a chance of improvement. So again we draw a loop from here. You see U2 V3. We draw a loop from U2 V3, U2 V3. You draw a loop. This time the loop will be done. We go from here. From here we come here. From here, then we go again here. So this is the new allocation, and this is the new allocation. For this cost, it has been calculated. This comes 2424. The cost has sharply declined, and again we calculate the UIVJ value. So this process will be repeated till we get all the values of the unoccupied cells as negative, as positive, all positive. So now see here all the positive values, and this, so this optimal solution has arrived. So what is the optimal solution? Optimal solution is rupees 2424 rupees, and this is the way we solve the unbalanced problem. So I think we have learned a lot about all this process. Now we shall study degeneracy in transportation problem in our next class. So I close this session here today. Thank you all.